Like if you found the video valuable, Dr. Kael Morgan had spent his life listening to voices that no longer spoke. As a xenolinguist stationed on the Europa Research Array, he specialized in decoding the remnants of alien transmissions, cultural artifacts captured by chance in the endless drift of space. Most were fractured echoes, the last words of civilizations long extinguished by time or catastrophe. But the signal that came through the Titan relay on the 3rd of June wasn't like anything Kael had ever heard. At first, it was noise, jagged bursts of static punctuated by tones too sharp for any human instrument. Yet hidden within the distortion was structure, repetition, rhythm, and tension. He froze as he listened. This wasn't background chatter from a forgotten outpost. It was language. He began parsing the fragments, layering phonetics against syntax, matching resonance against mathematical patterns. Slowly, words began to form. Help us. They are coming. Time is broken. Kael blinked at the translation as if the console itself had betrayed him. No one had ever sent a distress call across centuries. And yet, the coordinates attached to the message were impossible. The signal was stamped not with an origin point in space, but in time. The metadata placed its transmission date more than 600 years in the future. Impossible, he muttered, but the relay continued to spit out fragments, more urgent with every pulse. That night, Kael couldn't sleep. The words burrowed into his mind like thorns. What kind of disaster was so great that its victims hurled their voices backward through time? And why him? Why now? By the 4th day, he noticed a pattern. Each message referenced the fracture. Kael fed the term into his analysis algorithms, cross-referencing with every alien archive he'd ever decoded. The results chilled him. Across at least 5 extinct civilizations, there were references to a temporal breach, a wound in the fabric of causality itself. Some called it a rift, others a war, but the concept was consistent, reality unraveling at its seams. On the 5th day, the Titan relay went dark. Silence. No static, no pulses. Kael sat staring at the dead console, a hollow ache forming in his chest. Then the array's mainframe flickered alive with an alert. The signal hadn't stopped, it had simply moved. Somehow, impossibly, it was now being transmitted from inside the station. Kael followed the source down into the core systems. There, on a cold console no one had touched in years, words began to scrawl themselves across the screen in jagged lines of text. Kael. You are the first to hear US. The fracture begins with you. His throat went dry. Me? What are you talking about? He whispered. The reply appeared instantly. Your translation will complete the loop. Do not finish. His mind reeled. By decoding the fragments, by assembling them into coherent warnings, he might be ensuring the very timeline that birthed the catastrophe. Kael staggered back from the console, every instinct telling him to stop. Yet a deeper hunger gnawed at him, the same hunger that had driven him his entire career. To know, to understand. He hesitated. His trembling hand hovered over the command to continue parsing. The screen flickered one last time. If you open the final file, the fracture begins now. Kael closed his eyes. His heart hammered. The weight of centuries pressed against his chest. To stop here was to abandon the truth. To continue was to risk unraveling everything. In the humming silence of the array, he made his choice. And as the last fragment decrypted, the station lights dimmed. Reality itself seemed to shudder, as though the universe had just taken a breath it could never release. Dr. Kael Morgan leaned forward, eyes wide. The voices of the future were no longer echoes. They were here, and they were screaming.